in his first year in real estate, so he was licensed in 1989, and in his first year, he sold 51 homes. Okay, so all of you guys can aspire now in your first year to sell 51 homes. Fast forward to now, he is a professional coach, and I have the pleasure of introducing you. Please give a warm welcome to Don Yoakum.
Can you feel the fire running through your veins?
Am I on, Rob? All right. Okay, so my mission for you, or my mission that I am working towards in the real estate industry, is to help agents build an icon-level business, which in the EXP model is roughly 30 transactions a year, entirely by referral. Okay, now, that is not to say that I'm not a fan of internet lead generation, circle dialing, door knocking, open houses, etc. I think all those things are great. I just want you to think of them like a fire starter. Because what I'm going to show you is a way to get a couple transactions a month, to be precise, in professional networking. I will say, though, that this works best when you have laid a foundation in your business with a personal sphere of 300 people. So I'm not going to talk about sphere of influence marketing. There's a lot of other coaches that do that very, very well. But if you are taking notes, which I encourage you to do, I want you to write down, I'm going to have a personal sphere of 300 people for which I'll be a real estate resource and become their realtor of choice. I'm going to communicate with them personally. That's a live call, not a text, not an email. Once a quarter, always coming from a place of contribution. Okay, so that's all I'm going to say on the sphere. I'm going to switch to the networking, but I want to make sure that you understand that that's an important foundation to this. So my talk today is on 90 days to networking greatness. If I keep turning my head, it's not because I don't love you. It's because I have to look and see where we are in the presentation. So this is worth writing down. Your network will determine your net worth. As you're building your network, the first thing I want you to do is I want you to think about what kind of match this other professional is going to be for you. And like a lot of us guys, I want you to partner up. I want you to get somebody better than you, okay? And so we also want somebody that is relationship-based. And in my opinion, if you characterize agents, we have two types. We have relationship-based that provide an extraordinary customer service experience, and we have transactional agents that provide more of a commoditized experience. We're looking for relationship-based. And this is critical. We want to make sure that any professional that we're aligned with has a growth mindset. I think specifically like CPAs, for example, it's a great professional to have in your network. But a lot of CPAs don't need more business. And if they don't, they're not going to make a great referral partner. So you want somebody that's going to want to grow from a revenue perspective, from a personal perspective. These are the kind of folks you want to attract in your network. So before you start your network, I want you to go through a checklist for yourself. And what I want you to determine is, are you referable? Right? Because if you build this network, but you don't show up as a referable professional, it will be for naught. So number one, do you show up on time? Number two, do you do what you say? That's another way of saying underpromise and overdeliver. I would go further to say that the referrals that you get will actually be in proportion to the extent that you exceed the expectations that you set. Do you finish what you start? Can people count on you to stay with it when things get tough? Do you say please and thank you? Now, we are now in a society where texting and emailing is very commonplace. When I say say please and thank you, I want you to do it in a personal way. I want you to do it in a handwritten card, in person, or in a personalized phone call. And then, finally, are you the best at something? One of the things that we want to do is we want to capture the mindset of those folks that we will call our sphere and our past customers. We want them to think of us as being the best at something. So when they think of that one thing, it could be a geographic area, it could be, I've got an agent in Portland that specializes in floating homes, it could be horse property, it could be riverfront, golf course property, whatever the case may be. It could be property type. I had a good friend that was the duplex king in Sacramento, okay? You want to be the best at something. Now, once you have your group, I want you to get together with them on a regular basis. So I've spoken at a number of BNI and LaTips. They have weekly breakfast meetings. I encourage you to have a group that meets once a month. And my favorite new event now is this expert panel. One of the things that I've struggled with over the years in helping train agents to train their other affiliates to introduce them professionally is how do you get them to do that? And so this expert panel concept, and it came out of this pandemic, interestingly enough. We're all Zooming these days, right? And so last month, what I did for one of my agents in Colorado is we held a Zoom event for consumers on acquiring a second home and turning it into a short-term rental. So we had, of course, my realtor, we had a lender, we had an Airbnb ambassador, and they all invited their customer bases. And then we did a call. In this case, we had 35 people on the Zoom, which, for a first attempt wasn't too bad, right? And what I did essentially was interview each of these professionals about what it would take to get a second home and turn it into a short-term rental. And it was fantastic. The interaction was great. We had a lot of questions in the chat. But what I was looking for, and kind of my great frustration of real estate, is that I have felt like we've had a buffet. The realtor brings the food, everybody else brings a fork. Okay? That's the way it has felt in our interactions with the other affiliates in the industry. And what I've been trying to do is, how do I get my realtors in front of these other professionals? Well, this expert panel event has been a fantastic method to do that. Also encourage them to have a mastermind, and also to support a local event. I skipped ahead there, sorry, but once a quarter, one of the things that I want you to do in your community is just pick out a local event that you're going to get behind, buy some extra tickets for it, and invite your sphere to it. Of course, go yourself. So some other things that you can do to integrate yourself into a community. You're going to find some really wonderful growth mindset folks at a Toastmasters group. Join your local chamber. That's kind of the old tried and true method, but still worth doing. Here's a really great one. Tim Ferriss, the guy that wrote the 4-Hour Work Week. This is something that he did that really helped him get established in Silicon Valley. And he talked, first of all, people that volunteer in nonprofits, they have a generous spirit generally, right? They're not having to work and hit the grind, so they probably have enjoyed some success. And if you can get into something that you've got passion around and really demonstrate that you're going to go the extra mile, it can really raise your visibility in that community in a rapid way. So when you're building your network, here's the rules of engagement. Deliver extraordinary service. Again, a little pet peeve of mine is that affiliates will sometimes come to us, realtors, and say, hey, well, I'm going to take great care of your clients. And what I want to say to that professional is, that is the ante into the relationship. We're all going to provide extraordinary service, okay? And so that is a standard for entrance. That does not win you the relationship. you're going to have to bring additional value. But that is one of our rules. We also want to make sure for them and for you that you learn what their ideal client is. As a matter of fact, in the book Endless Referrals by Byrd, my favorite question that I learned from that was, and music to the ears of any affiliate is, what would make an ideal referral for you? I'm going to train you to ask questions that will uncover opportunities for you. We'll cover that in a moment. But that's one of the standards of entrance. And then I want you to think about being a connector. You know, one of the challenges that realtors have in creating reciprocation is that they're not doing the deal volume of some of the other professionals. Like an insurance broker, for example, might have 500 clients in a year. Well, a typical realtor might only have a dozen or two transactions. Okay, and so there's ways, though, that we can counteract that, and I'll tell you a quick story. I was facilitating a mastermind a few years ago, and to get in this mastermind, you had to make $250,000. So we had really successful people in it. There were 12 of us, and I went around the room and I asked them, to whom do you refer the most, and where do you get the most referrals of a professional nature? We get to the financial advisor, and the guy says, well, I've referred a CPA over 300 times. So all of us in the room were pretty successful, but we're all looking at this guy like, man, I want to be that guy's best friend, right? And so what I want you to think about is you may or may not have a lot of transactions that you can send to another professional. But one of the things that you can do is you can connect them, right? What if you were the realtor that connected that financial advisor to that CPA? Do you think that would have bought you some street cred with them? All right, so here's the math. I told you I was going to show you how to make 2 transactions a month. If you've got 12 people in your professional network, and I'm going to give you at least that many listed out here, and the average professional in your network has 200 professionals. It's 2,400 customers that they have built a trusted relationship with. If people move every 10 years, it's 240 transactions a year. Your objective, get 10%. Very reasonable expectation. There's your 2 deals per month. So when you're beginning your network in your community, the first step that I usually recommend is to align with a lender. And we're going to separate and conquer here. I usually have the lender go after the professional affiliates. So professional affiliates are like CPAs, financial advisors, attorneys, insurance. The best one, by the way, right now is assisted living. Okay? I interviewed an agent a few months ago that is getting, in Denver, 30 deals a month from one assisted living manager. It's a big development, mind you. 30 deals a year, okay? The realtor's job is to get the vendors. Now, when I say vendors, though, I want you to think specifically, what does somebody do right before they sell a home? They paint it, they landscape it, they remodel it, they trim the trees. These are the folks that we're looking for because we want listings. Most markets, you still have a seller's market, right? Okay, so our key asset-based professionals, homeowners insurance, financial planner, 3 different types of attorneys. Bankruptcy, by the way, I had one agent get 13 deals from a bankruptcy attorney. The year was 2008, but still. Sadly, divorce attorneys are the best, though, year in and year out, and estate attorneys are good as well. CPA, remember, need a growth mindset. Qualifying question for CPA is, do you have the capacity to add more clients? Okay, so what are trigger events for listing a home? Landscape. Property management is good as long as the property management company doesn't also do brokerage. That's an important question to qualify them on. I've got an agent in Southern California last year that got 4 deals from his window washer. Okay, would you thought of that? Remodeling's a natural. Painting. I've got an agent in Colorado that gets 3-4 listings a year. Average sales price, $800,000 from his painter. Tree trimming, flooring, and there's others, but these are the key trigger events for listing a home. Roofer. Okay, so our plan of action. Remember I said we're looking for relationship-based professionals. You want to condition the professionals getting into your group based on them having a personal communication with their clientele. So if it's an insurance broker and they do the annual renewal, they need to do it personally. Can't be phone. I'm sorry, you do want it to be phone. It can't be email, can't be letter, okay? And for those insurance brokers, if you have a good relationship with one, I'll just say that they do an annual review. They call it the Farmers Friendly Review at Farmers Insurance. Have them still do that, but right after they do that, have them ask the question, by the way, Randy, how are you liking that place? Are you settled in there a while? Which is code for, are you planning to sell? 1 out of 10 you ask that question are going to sell this year. I want you and everyone else to show up as a real estate resource. Remember our setup for the sphere of influence, be a real estate resource to become the realtor of choice. This is interesting. You want your sphere as well as your professional network not to be your salesperson, but to be your eyes and ears. To identify opportunities, and when they do a 3-way text introduction. Do not give your business cards out. Otherwise, you're going to get a call. Hey, Randy, did you get that call from that guy who was going to sell the $750,000 home in Albany? Shoot, Don, I didn't. That's $20,000 down the tubes. 3-way text introduction is a critical component. Show gratitude in a personal manner. We are going to acknowledge the action, not the outcome. So right when you get it, within 24 hours, acknowledge it. We talked about doing events. You're going to do 1 a month with your group, and then also you're going to meet these professionals at a community event once a quarter. And I want you to think of your group not as a referral group so much as a local mastermind. Remember, we're looking for growth mindset folks. All right. For those, again, taking notes, you might write down, you will be judged by the quality of questions that you ask. Ask questions to uncover opportunity. And if they are an asset-based professional, it's phrased in slightly different ways, but essentially the question is, do you plan to buy or sell in the coming tax year, if it's a CPA, right? Are you settled in there a while, if it's the insurance broker? Home improvements, the painter is going to simply say, may I ask what has prompted you to paint your home? You know, because if you're going to sell right away, we'll use a quality paint, but maybe not the most expensive. And that will uncover the referral. By the way, roughly 25% of the homes that are being painted right now are being prepared for sale. If you're driving through a neighborhood and the home is being painted, hit the brakes. Go figure out why. Okay, this is a little cheat sheet as I wrap up. If anyone is interested, you can email me at don@proinsight.com. I can send you this deck and also send you the cheat sheet so you can judge yourself on how good a professional networker you are. And then just a couple book recommendations as I wrap up. This is probably what the book that got me going on this journey was Bob Burg's Endless Referrals. That's the one where I learned the question, what would be an ideal referral for you? This was a great book. I didn't read this for a long time because I looked at the title and I thought, well, that's kind of obvious. There's a lot more to this book than just going to lunch. I was just telling my wife yesterday, this is one of my all-time favorite books. It's great in business, it's great in life, it's great for raising kids. It's just a great mindset to have, which is Carol Dweck's book on mindset. And I think that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Guys, give it up for Dawn. What great information. Good job.